Everyone, it's your GM Griff here. I just have a quick announcement before we get into day 3 and the final day of the Trial of the Beast. I just want to thank our friends at Fantasy Grounds. They actually just recently provided us with all the materials to finish out Carrion Crown, as well as a ton of first edition goodies that we can use on their system. I have to say I'm a huge proponent of Fantasy Grounds. I've been using it since we built our virtual tabletop. I think their maps scale fantastically for an in-person tabletop. It's awesome. Also, guys, you still better be getting hype because Halloween is right around the corner and the HLP crew knows how to do Halloween right. I promise you that there is some fun shit coming down the pipe for the rest of October, so buckle up. But with that out of the way, let's get right into episode 61, Beastly Until Proven Innocent.
Do you like liquor and things that go boo? Then buckle up, listener, 'cause this one's for you. Prepare yourself for the Hideous Laughter Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hideous Laughter Podcast, episode 61. Oh boy, I am so excited for this fucking trial. I can't believe I'm looking at a full party in front of me.
It's shocking.
That is shocking. That is something that, man, for even like all of Vorstegan grinds, I'm like, it's going to be touch and go. And then even post that with this looming threat of Eclipse, I was thinking, it's going to be touch and go. But you're all here. You're all ready to perform for the third and final time, a trial, and see if your buddy gets set free. Your buddy, Larry, the Beast. Before we get into that, though, I needs to know, Steve, what you drinking, dude?
Well, for this very special occasion, Griffin, I'm going to be treating myself a little bit. I went out and got something special, so I'll be drinking a Hams tonight. Tall boy, though. And that will be a Team Slurp episode, so y'all saw it coming. Trial day 3.
Cute. Well, that set you back, dude.
$4.49 for 6 tall boys of Hams.
Oh man.
Breaking
the bank.
Big spender, dude. Yeah.
I had $4.49 on the dot, burning a hole in my wallet. It was time.
Do you normally keep $4.49 on the dot in your wallet?
Well,
Just so
you never
can
know when you're going to run into a 6-pack of tall boys of Hams.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Wild encounter with a tall boy.
Speaking of a wild encounter.
See our 6-pack.
The wildest of encounters. My buddy Brooks, what you drinking, dude?
Hey, I am drinking James Pepper 1776 rye whiskey. So yeah, this bottle is actually straight from 1776.
Yeah,
So,
that's what that's why it's marketed that way, Brooks. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I'm 100% positive it was bottled then, and it is actually that old.
Speaking of that old, Haley.
To the youngest person on the podcast.
What you drinking?
I am drinking an unfiltered Down East pumpkin blend.
Oh, pumpkin blend. 'Tis the season to be spooky. How is it?
It's good.
It's funny because I didn't see you take a sip.
I'm not drinking it on air because I'm not a monster and I know the mouth noises happen every time. So
Fair. I myself am drinking a New Holland Dragon's Milk White. It is a white stout, which I personally really enjoy. They're kind of rare. Not a lot of breweries make them. Oh, it's wonderful. But the woman of the hour, Emily, finally succumbed to her own patriotic demise. What are you drinking?
I have a red sky morning this evening, and it is a vodka sour with, well, it's supposed to be blueberry wine float on top, but I couldn't find any blueberry wine, so it's blackberry wine on top.
I'm sure the taste difference will be unnoticeable.
I really can't taste blackberry at all. It's just wine. So
Okay, fair.
Emily, I believe you forgot. Was this a fan suggested?
oh yes, this was suggested by Action Forge, and I of course changed the name. So I think it was a Texas vodka sour, and I changed it.
That's fair. Actually, weirdly enough, I think Action Forge, like if you look at his drink suggestions, I've seen a couple of his videos. He always keeps like a, it almost looks like an alchemist flask of specialty spiced rum up on one of his shelves. And his drink suggestions are on point, man. That dude knows how to pick a drink. Unlike you, Alex Giordano, even though you're a bartender, picking the fucking...
How many times did he tell you not to drink it?
I mean, if you...
How many times did he say not to drink it?
Do you realize that saying you shouldn't do something makes you want to do something that much more? I feel like he was egging me on at that
He
point.
should have told you to drink the grandma's ash.
Yeah, he should have said, definitely drink it. It's so good. And then I would have been like, nah, better not. But today is a very special occasion because we have not one, but two live studio audience members watching us for day 3 of the trial.
Audience night!
I think one of them is a member of the Zarni werewolf gang.
And the other is the most infamous guest on Zone of Truth.
It's your boy, Krusty Krust!
Bird Points McGee. Hey guys, sidle up to a mic. What are you guys drinking tonight?
Griffin, I'm drinking a Horizon Hazy IPA by Homestead Beer Company.
I don't think he wants to move towards the mic because he got hit with his own personal pants gap. He's not wearing anything
He's
below
not
the
wearing any
belt.
pants.
I'm drinking a Mike's Pineapple Mandarin Lemonade straight out of the back of my fridge.
Tim, you sound like you're in pain.
Our fridge, Tim.
Straight from Mike's teeth.
I wore my voice out.
So, any angry villager noises that you hear beyond just the generic crowd rabble is probably going to be those guys.
Oofta.
Guys, thanks for coming. We love you. Obviously, we've had you on the Zone of Truth. Tonight's going to be fun. Tonight's going to be a good time, man. So, we don't have to roll for a Patreon beverage. As is tradition, at the end of each gauntlet, we all come together for another drink, which we'll do on episode 62. But I left you guys at the end of an onslaught. 70 members of a Lepidstadt mob descended on the courthouse with you, 11 guards, and 3 carnies there to defend the beast and pretty much to keep the building intact. You succeeded. It is now very early morning. And what's going on? The mob has just left. You are at the courthouse. Are you sleeping at all? Are you continuing to do other things in preparation for this trial at 10 o'clock? You have about 5 hours.
I would like to go feed and walk my manticore.
Fucking fine. Yeah.
I told you.
No, yeah, no.
I
yeah.
do this.
That's totally fine. Are you doing it for both? Or
Lyra will go and take care of Mel as well.
so the girls leave.
Someone should check on the barrister, though, because he was supposed to look through those, whatchamacallit ledgers.
I don't want to be the wet blanket here, but I feel like physically Ikmer and Matumbe would just need to sleep. We've slept 4 hours in the last, 60. Maybe not the entire time, but at least 3 or 4 hours of shut-eye.
Yeah, I think there would be plenty of beds in the barracks if you guys wanted to borrow 2 beds and go to sleep. You can get, your 4 hours. You probably wake up an hour early before the trial starts. But you can certainly do that.
Yeah, definitely. Ikmer will do that, sit in his cot, get comfy, sharpen his longsword, and
Is that what he does to go to sleep? He just sharpens that longsword?
Yep.
You heard it here first. The teenager polishes off his sword before he goes to bed.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Is it warm?
So Ikmer polishes his sword and goes to bed. Matumbe goes to bed. The girls go take care of the manticores. Did you decide if you wanted to leave the flesh golem hound in there for them, or you're going to take that with you?
I think we maybe could use it in the trial, or at least wait till we find out more information on it. So Lear wouldn't want to leave it in there for them.
Okay. So you guys are at the Brazen Head, the tavern you've been staying at. And from the darkness of the alley behind your rooms, you hear taps on the window as if somebody's throwing a pebble.
I've played this game before. Everything always comes to my window. I'm gonna open the window, obviously.
You open the window, you see below you the undead monks were true to their word. This is where they had said they would meet you, behind the tavern that you're staying at. They would kind of wave and then point up as if to say, can you sneak us up so we can figure out this disguise situation?
Hey, Lyra, we should maybe bring them to the boys' room, though, because I don't really want them seeing our pets.
That's fair. We want a nice quiet area to get their disguises ready. The manticores probably won't help with that.
Make a intelligence check.
Ha, not 20, 24.
Yeah, that's fine, Larry. You don't need to make one.
I rolled a natural 20.
I'm
We
sure it's
both
lower.
did.
I'm sure it's lower. Get him out early. Get him out early. You know that the barracks is where all of the guards sleep. It's not like Matumbe and Ikmer have their own room. So
Wait, no, Griffin, we were sleeping, both of us, both the girls and the boys had a room originally at the Brazen
you're
Head.
taking them to their
Yes.
hotel room, basically.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that's totally fine. I thought you were trying to take them back to
No.
Matumbe and Ikmer, and I was like,
No.
back to the
To
courthouse.
the boys' room next door to the girls' room.
Perfect. So, do you meet them out front?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. I'm going to need everyone to make a stealth check, including the monks.
Rolled a 8, so 12.
12.
Second natural 20 in a row, so an 18.
Oh, God.
That's pretty good.
The lowest monk had a 16. So they, being monks, kind of have they're not wearing shoes. They have very quiet steps. Eclipse turns to go up the stairs, and her axe clangs off of the banister. The innkeeper, who is behind the bar, even though it's very early in the morning, probably just cleaning glasses and that kind of thing, would look over, but luckily the monks have gone in ahead, and so she just sees you, and she's like, "Why are you up so early? You should be in bed."
Ma'am, I don't sleep well, so I was just on a nightly stroll. I'm coming back. Sorry to disturb you.
"Now to each their own. I've heard a lot of noise upstairs from what I think is your room.
I told you I just don't sleep. I'm up all the time.
It sounds like a lot of feet, more than more than one person could... more noise than you could just make.
Oh, don't underestimate these little legs. I get around that room really quickly.
All right, if the room's torn up, it's gonna come out of your deposit.
That's fair, ma'am.
Keep it down out there. Some of us are sleeping.
So you make it upstairs. And into Ikmer and Matumbe's room. So, what's the plan? You get us a disguise?
We picked up a disguise kit.
Alright. You know how to use it? We've really never used it. We've never had to disguise ourselves much.
Out of character, real quick, because we did not talk about this at all. I have a +8 to disguise.
I have a +6, so you would probably be best.
Okay. I didn't know if you had anything in disguise or what.
So, here's how I'm gonna play this. Since you've given me your pluses, I'm going to roll. Would you like me to roll for Lyra to aid, or do you want me to roll 2 separate checks?
Lyra would definitely aid.
Okay.
Or attempt to aid.
So, the way disguise is going to work for this trial is that you two are helping these monks get disguised. Put these disguises on, appear as human, right? So, the accuracy of their outward appearance, 100% up to you. Your disguise is going to be what I use against opposing roles. Their disguise will be used in order to change their voice to not sound so undead, walk around like they're not all stiff. So they will be making disguise checks as well. However, your disguise will help them. If you make a convincing disguise, it'll be easy for them to play it off like they're living. So, Eclipse's roll is going to be green. Lyra's roll is going to be black. I'm just saying that to you. You're not allowed to look.
It's a total makeover.
Okay. I won't say whether that's a good disguise or a bad disguise. But you have disguised them up. You've put makeup on their pallid skin. You have dressed them up in normal attire instead of, like, what we describe it, a towel and some hand wraps and foot wraps. So
They had to use Ikmer's old laundry.
yeah. So to you guys, they're looking relatively normal.
As we're getting the disguises ready, Lyra goes over the story that she's told several times now, just to remind them that they were maimed and enslaved, and just to back up the same narrative.
Do you want us to wear something over our faces or something to corroborate the maimed? You made us look right nice, and I don't know, they'll believe we've been maimed after you made us look so lovely.
Yeah, we should take some of those hand wraps you had and just wrap them on your face, maybe, and make it seem like you're bandaged up.
All right, we can do that. That seems like a good plan. You take a +2 to your disguise for making them look like they were damaged in some way.
Yeah, especially if I focus on some bandages near your mouth that make people understand why you don't talk exactly like other humans.
Well, no, if I'm supposed to be insulted here, I'm doing the best I can.
And you're doing a great job. We're really proud of you. This is really brave.
All right, well, and what's the plan from here? We got some time.
I'm just trying to do a quick run through of what else would make them look more human. Are they both very thin?
No, they look much like they would have in life.
Okay.
Aside from their skin kind of sagging, they look relatively muscular.
I was thinking if they were both, like, bony or something, give one a beer gut. Something. Anyways. I
appreciate the ingenuity.
Yeah. Hey, Lyra. Should we test out these disguises before we bring him straight to court, maybe?
I think that's a good idea. Just practice talking with other people, or at least being out in a crowd.
Let's grab an early morning coffee or shot of whiskey.
All right, neither of those does much for us, but as long
Pretend.
Oh yeah, perfect training. So they would go wherever you take them. They're following you around. You do notice that as you're walking around, I think you're being a little hyper vigilant at this point because you're walking to living corpses around Lepidstadt. It doesn't seem like people are paying them very much mind.
Look at those ordinary people.
And a good day to you, sir.
You look very fine, except for the bandages.
I hurt a lot.
All right, so if everything seems very positive, then I don't know what time it is, but I'd be willing to start heading back to the courthouse and talking to the barrister about what's in the ledger and introducing him to our witnesses.
Okay, so I'm going to say if you actually went through with your plan and went to a coffee shop and whatever, it's about 6:30 in the morning. So you definitely have time beforehand, especially because you're not sleeping. You head back to the courthouse. It looks like the guards are on high alert. They're taking shifts at watch outside the guardhouse even, making sure that a crowd of last night's magnitude doesn't form again.
Because I did so much work last night.
I have a secondary question. If it is 6:30 in the morning, what time does the sun rise this time of year in Galarian?
The sun has risen and you are free of influence. You are still fatigued, so you're at 2.
Yep, I'm at 2 points of influence. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Glad she does her homework, folks. So, you make it back. You go upstairs to speak with Barrister Koppel. He's in his office, as is tradition. You actually open the door because it's ajar, and you find him at this point like asleep at his desk, and he hears footsteps coming in. You know that feeling when you're asleep and someone's looking at you and you can tell like you're in like a light sleep? I think that's where he is, and so he kind of what happened? Are you okay from last night?
Yes, the crowd was horrible. They didn't make their way up here, did they?
No. You managed to fend them off.
Thankfully, eventually enough of them ran off that they all just dispersed, but it was an ugly mob.
Well, at least you kept the beast safe, and from what I heard, you didn't kill anybody. That's a good thing.
Yes, we were all very restrained. Everyone did a great job.
What did you need me for?
Well, we wanted to introduce our witnesses. And Lyra turns around and shows off the 2 monks.
And the monks would kind of semi-awkwardly like reach out to shake his hand. Does Eclipse do the shaking head thing that Haley is doing to me right now?
Yes, Eclipse would slowly shake her head and then say, Barrister, no, they're very injured still. It'd probably be best if we don't have them touching a lot of people right now.
They would put their hands behind their back and kind of bow as a sign of greeting.
Yeah. Don't want to risk infection, you know? They're very badly injured.
Hello, sir. My name is Marcus. This is my friend, Bartholomew. We worked for Stag and Grind, not of our own volition, but we were forced to work there. We were injured working there. We gladly testify on behalf of these good people who saved us. This is wonderful. This is great, you two. They will be our star witnesses to not only what happened there, but to your character as well.
Yes, I think after last night and liberating these poor workers, the town will see us in a much better light.
At this point, because they're interacting with their first person for real, I'm going to roll their disguises. Don't look.
Sorry.
You filthy cheater, Emily. Drink
Just
your
like
drink.
she cheats at the Patreon poll.
I gave you guys time to put up a poll and no one put one up, so...
I've been buried in paperwork, Emily. There are so many ethical complaints against this company.
And Marcus would turn to you two and he'd say, "Does this sound about right? If I were to talk like this in trial, would I be more believable?"
Yeah, but you probably shouldn't say that in front of the barrister. In front of the barrister, he's saying this?
No, I mean, he would this is like him taking you aside.
Yes.
I thought that was like the natty one disguise role.
I was like, what are you doing? So then Eclipse would say, "Yes, that is very good. Good talking here."
All right, I could make this work. It's a little difficult for me to keep doing, but I think for a short stint it'd be all right.
All right, Bartholomew, how are you doing?
Well, miss, I feel like I'm doing all right. If he's talking okay, then I suppose my words might be all right as well.
I agree. It's good. Good job. All right, back to the barrister then.
What else did you have to say?
When they get back in, Lyra walks up to his desk again, saying, "Before the mob came last night, we asked you to look into the golem dog. Were you able to find out where he maybe was sold?"
The ledger appeared to say that they bought this particular dog from a man named Alpon Karamark. He's he used to be royalty in this part of Lepidstadt. He was a count before we adopted elections and such in this part of the country.
So, where does he live now?
About 20 to 30 miles outside of town. You follow the Lesser Mortro River. It's strange that his house is built on a waterfall.
That sounds lovely.
The locals call it Schloss Karamark.
Is he well known for flesh golem dogs?
He's one of the better surgeons in the area. He taught at Lepidstadt at the university for a while. I imagine if someone could do this, he could.
This might be worth checking up on later. I don't think we'll have time to do it before the trial today.
Yeah, 27 miles away. Totally side trip. Let's go. Bang it out 2 hours.
Maybe with faster horses.
It was in the book. It was in the book.
That is a mother of a callback.
It was in the book, Emily.
I'm
And just like that, into the courtroom flies the Nethal Goo.
No!
Finish her off. Okay, so you guys got that information. At this point, why don't we call it about 9 or 9:30? The boys wake up. You guys likely share that information. The Marcus and Bartholomew look relatively convincing, although you can see that the makeup you put on them is kind of like drooping a little bit, so you might want to touch it up. And
We would touch up whatever was necessary.
yeah, I know you would. And the third day of the trial of Lepidstadt, the biggest trial in Lepidstadt in probably a century, the Beast of Lepidstadt is on trial and will be judged today.
Woo!
Before we get into the trial, can Lyra draw her hero card for the day? I drew the owl. Hopefully it will impart some wisdom on Lyra today.
Is that a star?
It is, so it does give me a bonus to wisdom.
Wisdom bonus. All right. So you draw your card, and you guys enter the courtroom, and you can see that, well, honestly, you can see some of the faces you saw last night sitting in this courtroom.
Boo!
So they didn't get sleep either. They're also fatigued.
They're also fatigued. Actually, they took a nap before they went. They went to Rampage, so they're actually pretty good.
Come back for some more, huh?
So are you saying if I take a nap, I'm not fatigued? Because I took a nap.
Well, they slept from like 2 p.m. to
I'm going to burn
4
down the
a.m.
courthouse tonight, so I'm going to go to bed at 2 in the afternoon.
Sleep.
I was gonna say, haven't you guys all taken your like pre-riot nap?
Yeah, have you ever been a part of a riot mob?
I think I'm going to get pretty violent tonight. Might as well put in my 8 hours now.
Guys, I'm about to rage.
Oh,
I think in the description of them, it's like fueled by hard cider. The mob descends on.
Wait, that's not actually in the book.
Yeah, it is.
That's amazing.
Fueled by hard cider. So you see some people from the mob. You see Sajira and Captain Caleb and Wiener are all among the people sitting here because it's an open trial. They seem to, after Ikmer had asked for their help, they seem to have a vested interest in the beast as well. So you walk forward and find your way to the defense with Barrister Koppel, who is already sitting there. And the crowd goes silent with the approach of the 3 chief justices. Chief Justice Card, the man you've grown to know over the past couple of days, the eldest of the judges and probably the most respected of the group, stands with weary eyes and proceeds to point out into the seats, into the crowd of people that have gathered here. I never thought I would be saying this. I'm disappointed in my city after the events of last night. Now, we talk about wanting justice, wanting what's right, wanting a fair trial. What happened last night is not what is right, what is just. You attempted to usurp my authority over this trial, and that won't be tolerated again. Bailiff, there's an unruly element in this court today, and I won't stand for it. I'm not passing justice. I'm not passing sentences. If you were a member of last night's unpleasantness, get up and leave. I'll give you this warning, because if you cause a single disturbance in my court tonight, by God, by the gods, something beyond your reckoning will happen to you. You want this creature to burn, and we'll see at the end of the day if he does. But you might burn with him. Get out of my brother. Get out of my courtroom. Get out of my sight. And I never want you in one of these open trials again. If you're one of those who attempted to destroy this courthouse, and you see about 20 people file out.
The whole time Matumbe was staring down the two guys that had the spirals bruised into their cheeks. Do they leave?
They do.
I just peed
Dave
a little
Street.
bit. It's terrifying.
Now, with the riffraff gone, I want a fair trial today. I want to hear what happened at Sanctuary. So, we'll start with the prosecution, but before we do, the accused needs to be present. And once again, as with the prior days, the beast is carted out and put into a cage, shackled by more chains than you could imagine necessary for a thing of his size. But this time, he doesn't look afraid. He's got this grim determination on his face. He looks ready for whatever this justice is. And at this point, a Divian would stand and present his case. Good people of Lepidstadt, this has been one hell of a trial, hasn't it? We've seen all kinds of crazy evidence thrown our way.
Lies.
But I think we need to keep in mind the greater good. This monster cannot be allowed to walk the streets again. Remember your fear, good people of Lepidstadt. Remember it. And think to the day when this beast continues to roam your streets, killing and maiming your friends and family. Now, I'm here today to talk about Carb Isle. This place was meant as a sanctuary for the downtrodden, and this monster burnt it to the ground. If you think you see sympathy in its eyes, you're a fool. I call Carl to the stand. And Carl would, with some assistance from one of the guards, make his way to the stand. Now, Carl, you were one of Dr. Brada's assistants, correct? Yes, that's true. Well, what did you see? I know you can no longer see because of the beast's violence, but what did you see before he took your sight from you? I saw a flash. I was trying to save my master before the fire consumed him, and I saw this huge figure. The beast, no doubt. He caused Sanctuary to burn down. I saw it before my sight was gone. Again, one of these sightings. The beast seen at every turn at a place of utter destruction. Good people of Lepidstadt, we can't let this stand.
Preach, brother! Burn him!
I am so sorry I can't provide further visual identification for the flash that occurred when I saw the beast blinded me, and I never got that sight back. Very good, very good. I'm so sorry for what's happened to you. I'm sure it must be difficult to have lost your sight and have the last thing you've seen be this creature behind me. I can't think of a worse thing. People of Lepidstadt, this man has suffered a great indignity, and he is still alive. Think of those that have died, not just in Sanctuary, of which there are numerous, but also in the other places where the beast has rampaged. Do you really want to see this kind of violence and malevolence continue?
No! No! Justice! Give him blood!
I think we need a new start for this town, and it starts in ashes. And he would step down. Barrister Koppel would stand, and he would address the crowd. He's sweating.
Here, have a beer.
He takes a swig.
In the middle of the courtroom.
People of Lepidstadt, please. This is all for show. Can't you see past what your eyes tell you and see the logic that we've shown you so far, and we're going to show you today? There are facts, not hearsay, that prove this man is not a murderer. Just listen and keep an open mind to what you hear. And he calls the four of you to the stand. Well, Lyra at this point to the stand.
More like Lyra for lying. Oh. You got him, Cletus.
So, Lyra, you are called to the stand. Like every other day of the trial, what we'll do is that you can present a piece of evidence. I will decide if another type of check is applicable to aid your diplomacy, which I will allow anyone else in the party to roll, but you will be responsible for rolling the diplomacy that determines the success or failure of that check.
Sounds like a plan.
So you are asked to the stand.
Lyra walks up to the stand as regally as she can while fatigued and completely exhausted from all of these events. When she gets up there, she tosses her hair back from her shoulder.
Emily did that in person, folks.
In the last 24 hours, not only have we unearthed the truth of this trial, but we've also upheld the civil nature of this whole town. I ask of you, do not remember your fear, for that brings about the mobs and the destruction that we saw last night. Remember your bravery. Help us uncover the truth. Let's start off this new chapter for Lepidstadt with life and freedom instead of death and ash. That is no way to turn a new leaf. We need to come at this from a positive perspective. Do not let the fear hold you down. This town can be bright and vibrant. During our investigation of the sanctuary, we found a basement. In that basement, we discovered that Dr. Saloom and Dr. Brada were experimenting on patients. They had a secret room filled with body parts. They were also selling these body parts. We found a ledger detailing the sales and linking them to Vorkstag and Grind's Chemic Works. To corroborate this, I would like to call Dr. Brada to the stand. So, Lyra would pull out the skull.
Okay.
Coming in hot.
Lyra pulls out a part of a corpse. And Pavlos, seeing his cue, would walk over and cast Speak with Dead on it.
Does he kiss the forehead?
Not for the dead, only for the living. His love is only for the living. A true man of Pharasma. Dr. Brada was of an evil alignment, and so I'm going to give him a will save to resist. You may proceed with your question.
I'm assuming there's like a podium or some level area. So Lyra sets the head on that level area and
Skull have a degree.
looking at it says, "What were you doing to your patients in the basement of the sanctuary?"
I was trying to cure them. You have 3 more questions.
What were you doing to cure them?
Administering medicine.
Lyra, the back room. Talk about the back room.
What were you doing with the body parts in the back secret room?
Those I have no knowledge of. They were Dr. Saloon's.
In your own words, how did the fire start?
A flask of strong alchemist fire was thrown. And those are your questions, and the skull falls silent.
Dr. Saloom and Dr. Brada were evil scientists experimenting on their patients. He was not willing to cooperate with us well, but the ledger and the body parts in the back room show that this was not a happy sanctuary.
And you present the body parts in the ledger?
Yes.
Make me a diplomacy roll. Anybody with knowledge arcana can aid.
I'm at a 9. Where are you at, Matumba?
12.
Go for it.
I mean, either of us would auto aid because the lowest you
Oh,
could
yeah.
do is a 1.
True.
But you have to say something.
Yes, these body parts were also very carefully preserved, and this is a very special kind of magic, and it is used for transport, selling, and experiments, and keeping things ready to go for various deeds to be done on the organs. Do I even have to roll?
No, you don't. You
Okay.
auto-succeed.
My rolling streak went away, so I only rolled a 3,
Oh boy.
which goes up to a 19.
With the aid,
Yes, that was with the aid.
you're lucky. That's a 29.
Whew.
Because you have written record of transactions happening between Vorkstag and Grind and Doctors Brada and Saloom.
All right.
The judges nod their approval.
That don't convince me. I can't read. I don't understand.
This was not the only piece of evidence that pointed towards Vorkstag and Grine. Earlier in our investigation, when we were in Marast, we found a set of surgical tools on the island of the Restlands. We tracked the sale back to Vorkstag and Grine, so we moved our investigation there next. Unfortunately, they were not interested in talking with us. As soon as we came up to their place of business, they attacked us and tried to end our investigation and stamp out the truth. They were clearly unsuccessful. What we found inside were more body parts. And even worse, they had maimed and enslaved their workers. You remember that rumors around town were you never see the chemic works workers enter or leave. It's because they were trapped there. We have 2 of those workers here now. Marcus and Bartholomew, will you please come to the stand?
And they would stride upright to the stand.
Them 2 are about as ugly as my wife.
Dear God.
Before they speak, I need another diplomacy roll for connecting the surgical tools. You may, anybody that was involved, so Matumbe or Ikmer, with tracking that all the way through, can make either an appraise or a knowledge local check.
Yeah, I have a +0 to appraise and 0 knowledges, so
My plus 11 to local it will be.
Okay. So you auto aid.
Yep. So Matumbe will say, we did not bring this up in the first day of trial because, honestly, we did not find it relevant. We didn't think it would help the case of the beast. However, after a few days of investigation, we found that there were certain things that we found that first day of investigation that are proving true today. We were able to connect the dots fairly easily from the very first crimes in Morass to the crimes you see in front of you today.
Go ahead and roll me that diplomacy.
That's 30 with the aid.
Righto. Should make it.
Yay!
You may continue now. So you called Marcus and Bartholomew to the stand.
Excuse me, before we proceed, Pavlos, just so the audience and judges all know where we're at, can you cast Zone of Truth on these employees?
I did prepare it as you asked, so certainly. I don't see why not. Do the witnesses acquiesce to being put under such a spell? Why, yes, of course we do. Why would we lie in a trial like this? And so Pavlos casts Zone of Truth over Marcus and Bartholomew.
This is ethically gray.
This is a little bit of a gray area.
This is why Eclipse did it, and also for those listeners, so that you know, it won't work on them as they're undead.
Wait, how far does that spell reach?
You up there! What do you really think of your wife's beauty?
She's not a good looking person. I have extreme prejudice and not a good person either. I love his wife.
So, God damn it. So Bartholomew and Marcus would take the stand, and they would begin to speak. I wanted to clear the air before we got into the nature of our enslavement. Me and my friend Bartholomew here, we're trapped in Forkstag and Grind's chemical works. In fact, the 4 people defending the beast, they saved us. They made sure we could leave. They sought justice, and the only thing that happened to them was that there were bombs thrown in their faces, and they were attacked by Vorkstag and Grind. And I just think that them being attacked like that, well, it should excuse any wrongdoing that happened there. They found the truth and they saved us. And we're happy to be free and to speak on their behalf.
Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your side of the story in all of this. From what you were able to see, what was happening? What shady business was happening at Vorkstag and Grinds?
We were forced to maintain what they called the cadaver pool of bodies that they either dug up or killed. Those bodies were kept in a vat of cool water in order to preserve them without having to use magic. If you go send people to Vorkstag and Grinds, you'll realize that you'll see the bodies there. We were tasked with shipping. We had to ship the bodies out to various dealers that were interested, whether it be scientific or otherwise, in these corpses. We actually had more than just human corpses there. Rarities were highly valuable.
Lyra sweeps her gaze from the judges across the crowd, saying, "As you can see, Vorkstag and Grine were evil people, and they were killers. Unfortunately for us, it was kill or be killed. We acted in self-defense, and Vorkstag and Grines did not make it out of that combat."
You can roll a diplomacy based off of the testimony here. They will roll to aid. They aid.
25.
I'll do, donkey.
Woo! We were able to uncover more information as we looked further into the chemic works, and she'll motion to the two monks that they can go sit
Okay.
back down. Vorkstag was an alchemist. He was able to produce bombs that he threw at us, and maybe could have produced the chemical fire that was seen at the sanctuary as well. But that's not his only talent. He was not who he appeared to be. He was a skin changer. We found...
Oh my god! Should have had lunch.
It gets worse than that. We uncovered a closet of skins.
Oh god.
Lyra starts pulling them out. These are people that you all knew.
She just stretches them out in front of the crowd.
Like you got, like Ikmer Matumbe, like holding him up, modeling him off.
Eclipse will Vanna White.
Perfect.
You had the miller, Olga, a harlot, a merchant, and Dr. Ville, a lecturer. And last but not least, a large skin, nearly as big as the beast, with patches of different types of skin, mismatched flesh. A skin changer wearing this skin would look very similar to the beast, especially in dark, creepy nights.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Make your first diplomacy check for just revealing this cabinet and that Vorkstag is a skin changer.
Someone in the crowd is very embarrassed now that they know that they, in fact, were not with the harlot, but with Vorkstag.
It's Cletus.
Yup.
It's Cletus.
26?
46.
Oh, Jesus.
You can see in this large skin, there's a tear where the shoulder would be. And if you look at Vorkstag's body as it is now, motioning to someone to hold up the body.
God, this is just a cabaret of just dead bodies.
Order now for 4 payments of $19.99.
But wait, there's more.
There sure is. There's a bite on his shoulder. You can see the residual wound that bulges from the flesh that's covering his muscles now.
Would you show that with the beast-like skin that has a tear?
Yeah, like holding them up next to each other.
Okay. I will accept aid in the form of a knowledge nature or a heal.
I could do that.
I'm saying, not me.
I auto succeed.
Jesus.
If you want to do different checks, you can both attempt to aid. So if you want to do knowledge nature and Igmar wants to do heal, you can both attempt to aid.
Yeah, I would auto succeed the nature.
All right.
Hit us with a heal.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. I do. Since I have to say something, I've seen a lot of wounds in my time, and as you can see, the beast does not bear one, while this skin does.
Over and over we have heard the testimony that the beast was driven out of Morast because he got bitten on the shoulder, but a blood came in. A blood came in as a, should I say, distinct bite. That seems to be in pattern with this beast's skin. Furthermore, that bite is on the flesh of the skin changer, but not on the flesh of the beast. I think this is a fairly simple equation, my friends.
You get a +4.
All right, that's a 23 overall.
That is a 33.
Yes.
Alrighty. I'm gonna keep going. I could do this all night.
We have more clues.
Just keep giving us bonuses, Griff. We can do it all night, too.
Get a -6.
Get a -6 for arrogance.
For fatigue.
There are 2 other pieces of evidence that place Vorkstag in Morast instead of the beast. Those surgical tools that were linked to Vorkstag and Grein were found in Morast at that same island, likely used by Vorkstag. We also found a face there of a well-known trader in the area, Nan. Vorkstag could have used that face to get access to the island and to Morast without raising any suspicion.
Alright, I will accept one roll for this because you already did the roll for the surgical tools, if you remember. This can only be aided by a profession gravedigger because of the nature of, getting access to the area being beneficial and stuff.
Yeah, because there's really 2 other things that add on to that, right? Like the bodies we're missing, as well as that potion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen many bodies buried in my day. The face decays. This face is very well preserved. In fact, it seems to be something. I don't know if... frankly, though I know a lot about graving, I am not an expert in everything. I do not know if this face was preserved by alchemical or magical means, but it has been preserved for a nefarious purpose. That much cannot be disputed.
And you guys are showing the face, correct?
Yes, and that does aid.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 2, so with the aid, 18.
18. Anything else?
There were many bodies missing from Morast. I think it would be good for Vorkstag to answer why those were taken. I call Vorkstag up to the stand. Pavlos, can we have another speak with dead?
Twist my arm a little bit. I did prepare 3 of them for you today, so best not, waste not, want not, as they say. Vorkstag will also have a will save. And the body kind of shudders a little grotesquely, unnaturally to life. Vorkstag laying down kind of tilts his head up.
Looking right at the corpse, Lyra says, "Did you yourself did you order someone else to dig up the bodies in the restland of Morast?"
I dug up the bodies.
What were you doing with those bodies?
Selling them for coin.
Were you trying to pass the blame for these crimes onto someone else? Say, the Beast?
I was trying to go unnoticed.
As you can see from the corpse's own mouth, this...
You have one more question, by the way.
Are you also into Cletus's wife?
Were you the one that started the fire at the sanctuary?
That fucking bastard owed me money.
Oh!
So we're done now, huh?
You don't have to roll. That is an auto-succeed.
Woo! Why? I don't understand why he's being so honest.
He failed his will save.
Ah. But he's still... Okay.
The will save guarantees they'll be truthful. Whether or not that's vague is up to me.
I see.
I imagine as a quartet, Ikmer, Lyra, Matumbe, and Eclipse all give double birds to the entire courtroom.
No, just a Divion from Lyra. Just a Divion.
Middle fingers pointed at Divion.
That was referencing bird points.
No.
Great people of Lepidstadt. As you can see, it was not the Beast that started the fire at the sanctuary, or that dug up the bodies and was terrorizing the people of Morast. It was Vorkstag. He did not work alone, though. He ran the chemic works with Grine, and also had dealings with Dr. Saloom. We haven't found Dr. Saloom yet, but we have Grine. I think it's time we speak with him. Can we have one more speak with him?
I get it. I understand. I'll cast it again. Fuck's sakes. Supposed to be here detecting magic.
Man, from priests.
It's not a Catholic priest. Boop. Magic detected. The small corpse looks up.
Do you know where is Dr. Saloom now? Or the last you knew of her whereabouts?
The last I knew was on Carbile. Oh shit, I didn't roll his will save. Forget you heard that.
I was literally just starting to think, oh, maybe this was a good guy. Holy shit, we fucked up.
Grinds is wild and he don't give a fuck.
Grinds fights for either side.
He's switching teams.
That still applies.
Okay. What sort of relationship did you have with Dr. Saloom?
She bought body parts from us, and in return, she gave us gold.
What did she do with those body parts?
I don't know.
Can we talk about how buying body parts, of course she gave gold. That's how you buy things, but
I
anyway.
was just trying to be not obtuse. The nature of the transaction. The art of the deal.
Do you guys have any other questions? Okay.
I feel like we won this, and maybe I'm
Yeah.
overconfident, but I feel like we won this.
With all of this information, Lyra stands very proud in front of the audience and also the judges, saying,
Grind kind of continues to sit up, waiting for his last question until the duration of the spell runs out. Then he just pops back.
Greg, do you want to go away now?
I'd love that.
Okay, bye.
The Beast was the scapegoat for the awful crimes committed by Dr. Brada, Dr. Saloom, Vorkstag, and Grine. Larry is innocent of all crimes waged against him in the trial, as you have all seen from the evidence that we have presented today. Free Larry and help us track down the last perpetrator, Dr. Saloom. She is the one that must pay for these crimes, not Larry.
And I will assume that is your closing statement.
That is, Lyra walks back to the rest of the group and sits down.
Edivian would rise. Good people of Lepidstadt, I can't believe what I'm seeing in front of me. It appears our holy sister of justice has been coerced to perform parlor tricks for this group of miscreants that attempts to set this monster free. Not only are they fighting for injustice, but they're also fighting as murderers of people in this town. How many of you have bought alchemical substances from Mr. Grine and Mr. Vorkstag, esteemed members of this town cut down by these four? It's a shame that they would say these things in defense when they should be on trial themselves.
Amen! Lock him up!
If you think the beast is innocent, I urge you to dig deep and realize if you even want to live in this town, if you even care what is good for this place. You have murderers advocating for murderers in a trial that's most holy ideal is to uphold justice when injustice has been performed over and over again over the course of these 3 days. I won't stand for it. There's a monster in this room, and maybe more, and what I have to say is that the beast must burn.
Yeah!
With this, Lyra stands up and slams her hands down on whatever hard surface is close by to her.
It's Cletus!
Clearly very upset and getting riled up. The only monster in this courtroom is you, Adivion. You are spreading fear and hatred, and it is infecting this entire city.
I didn't murder anybody, you child. What do you know of the legal system or of any of the goings-on of Lepidstadt? You're an outsider and a murderer. You've killed people that belong to this town.
We acted in self-defense
Right,
and removed evil.
You acted in a self-righteous sense of justice that doesn't exist in this town. You killed people in their own home, in their own place of work. You killed them because they wouldn't let you prance right through the door, didn't you?
Those people were killing others around this town. We unearthed their evil doings. The killings will stop now. Once we find Dr. Saloom, the evil will be lifted from this area. We need to move past this and actually take care of the issue. The issue here, right now, is the hatred. We need to move on.
All right. So at this point, we're going to see the state of the room. We're each going to roll a flat D20 check because Adivion's charisma bonus is way higher than yours.
Also, I'd have to say people is a pretty strong word for these fae. But, in general, are we forgetting this?
Nice.
Gotta reroll that. I got a little
It's the
excited.
nerves. It's the nerves.
4.
2.
Wow!
Oh my goodness.
I won't say that the angry elements of this courtroom are swayed by you, but the majority of folks in this room are.
I don't know how to feel about this.
And at this time, Justice Card would speak. All right, I've heard about all I'm willing to hear on this case. I and the other judges will take an hour to deliberate, and we'll be back with the verdict. You all sit tight. And then they would exit the courtroom and head upstairs. The hour passes. Is there anything you all want to say to each other as the clock ticks down, or say to the beast who is chained?
Matumbe wants to address Lyra and just say, Lyra, thank you for standing your ground against that fool. I appreciate that you displayed backbone in this courtroom and stood your own. You did incredibly in the face of justice.
Yes, his sharp tongue did not indicate a keen mind. We had the truth on our side.
This is true. And hopefully, greater minds will see reason. I put my faith in the system for now.
So, guys, we have them connected to Morast, and we have them connected to the Sanctuary. But was it really just a wild wraith?
It's a fair point. I mean, the two instances seem rather connected, but the third, not so much. You saw the same as I did, that there were wild wraiths over that town. I do not recall any evidence we saw tying them back to Vorkstag Orgrimes, or this mysterious Dr. Saloom who still evades our grasp.
It sounds like that was the only place the beast actually was, too. And he just was a victim of wrong place, wrong time.
That's really too bad.
It's a good thing he had us on his side.
That's right. Should we discuss, say, what, if he is let free, should we have the crooked kin, ready to at least take him to safety out the back door type of thing?
That sounds like a great idea. He could use a family, somewhere to really belong. They're very good people, and I'm sure they would give him a lovely life.
Perhaps the town guard could be convinced to at least escort him to the edge of town. I think they will listen to what we say.
I'll let the crooked kin know.
So, you guys set up these little connections in the hour that transpires. And then the judges exit into the courtroom. And Justice Card speaks up. We have heard the evidence presented before us, and thank Pharasma that we did so. For without this trial, there would have been a most terrible miscarriage of justice. There are many cruelties in this world, but to lie and blame another for one's crimes is the most terrible of them. We have asked ourselves a question. Who is the monster here? Is it this creature? No. Man, before us, with his broken body and his terrible form? Or is it we, the people of Lepidstadt, with our bigotry and lies? The beast, or Larry, well, he's innocent. And at this point, the mob erupts in anger.
Ah! Burn somebody! Looks like the law's in the people's hands now! Should be more like Mafalspe.
Hey, I heard that.
And Justice Card would say, "Order in my courtroom. Well, if you're gonna cause rabble-rousing, I have one thing to say to you. I need you to finish your drink, because we'll see you next week."
I can't believe we did it!
Yeah.
Woo!
We have no abilities.